A growing international movement called Half Earth is calling for bolder action to be taken to conserve the Earth's biodiversity. In a paper published today in the journal Nature, the movement is calling for at least half the Earth to be allocated for conservation. Joining me from Brisbane to tell us more about Half Earth is one of the paper's authors, Associate Professor James Watson from the University of Queensland. Now, James, according to plans announced today by Elon Musk about manned missions to Mars in less than a few years and billions to be spent in this regard, isn't there more of an immediacy required to protect the planet on which we are living on? Surely it wouldn't cost as much to begin with.
Look, that's exactly right. What we know is that it's going to cost about $400 billion to save Earth biodiversity over the next 30 years. That's a big number, but when you think about the $70 trillion we actually make every year out of the global domestic product in terms of our economies and how we take from nature, it's only about 0.05% of the amount of money needed to save nature. Now, what Elon Musk has done is actually provided a very broad vision, a hopeful vision that we can actually live on Mars and actually get there. And that's great in some ways, but I think nature conservation needs that exact same bold vision right here on Earth.
So tell us about the Half Earth project. What does it aim to do?
So it's coming from a movement of scientists and practitioners. We're realising that now a third of all species on Earth are in danger of going extinct. In the last 40 years, we've lost 60% of populations of fish, mammals and amphibians around the world. And with increasing remote sensing technology, when we map the Earth, we see that we're degrading both the oceans and the land all around the place at far greater scales than we thought previously. And we've realised that we're running out of time. So the movement's about a big, bold plan for nature. We're realising that we haven't got much time. We need to actually provide a plan now, and it's actually getting scientists together like myself and my colleagues at the University of Queensland with non-government organisations here in Australia and overseas, and developing that plan and presenting it to nations, to industry, and inspiring people with it.
Now, conserving Earth's biodiversity surely is simple. What are some of the broader actions we can take to preserve these areas?
Oh, look, there's a lot of things we can do. It's not simply about protected areas. I mean, at one scale, it's about working with land managements, working with farmers, Indigenous people, miners, foresters, town planners, urban planners, to give nature a go, to actually ensure that there's a conservation-compatible plan in the development strategy. At a government level, it's about inspiring government to do something. Right now, the amount of money government spend on nature conservation is dwindling, and it's just simply not enough. And at a personal scale, it's about really recognising that our own choices make a difference. It's about what we eat. It's about how we eat. It's about how we clothe ourselves, the energy consumption we use. It's about how we move across the planet. These are all choices about what nature, the harm we're going to do to nature, and about what we can do about it. So there's a lot of different scaled things we can do to save nature.
Speaking of inspiration, then, seemingly we need an Elon Musk for environment. Does nature still stand a chance?
Absolutely. That's the big thing that we're finding in our science we're producing, in that we still have time. Not much time, but the moment is now to act. If we protect those places that are irreplaceable for biodiversity, if we start to really plan and work with different stakeholders, if we start inspiring younger generations and politicians alike and really getting behind it, there is every bit of hope for nature conservation. Right now, we're going through a bottleneck. Our human population is really building. We're really extracting a lot of natural resources from around the planet. But we've got to get to a breakthrough situation where the nature and humanity can live in a coupled system and coexist in a way that works for everybody.
Associate Professor James Watson of the University of Queensland, thank you for speaking to me this evening.
Thanks, Nina.